I got a new video for you today. I put in this new head unit, and there's one problem that I found out that it has, and that's when the lights are on. I got one of those Metra harnesses, and I put the orange wire to the orange wire of the harness, and so here is what happens when I turn on the parking lights. The lights come on, everything's great, and headlights too. So when I've got those on, and now I come over here to the dimmer, if I use the dimmer switch, which you would normally do to dim the dash, look what happens over here. It starts flashing, and from what I understand, the head unit can't handle it when the voltage is not constant. I'm going to rewire the illumination light to the parking wire that comes out over here. So I'm going to have to figure out which one of these wires is on when I put on the park or headlamp, and then splice into that and attach that to the orange wire over here in the head unit, and that should allow me to use the dimmer plus have the lights working on the head unit and stay working. So to get this headlight switch out, you need to get a screwdriver here into the bottom and the top and pry it out. Try to not break it. Okay. So here it is, and now we've got to figure out which one of these turns on or has power when the switch is switched to P. And this one here is attached to the dimmer, I'm assuming. So let's see if I can figure it out using a test lamp. Alright, I've got the switch out and I got my test lamp here. I read that the brown wire is the one that will turn on when I do the work switch, so I'm going to try and turn this on here by myself. And there you go. I just turned the light to park, and this brown wire is the one that turns on. So that's what I'm going to wire my illumination light to, because it will always be on when park is on, and when the dimmer is used, it should still have the same voltage, and the lights should not flicker. So I'm going to tap into it with a wire tap, and then I'm going to run it down here under here over to the radio and up there to the illumination wire. I tapped into the brown wire with one of these wire taps, and I didn't have an orange wire, so I've got it connected. I just want to make sure that it's going to work. So I'm going to use my test light again and turn this to park and make sure I'm getting a light. And I would say yes, I am. So I got it hooked into the wire correctly up here. So now I get to run this wire over to the radio. I ran my wire down behind the bulkhead there, and then I'm gonna run it the same place I ran my other wires for the camera and such up to the radio. Now we're gonna take out the head unit here, and I think the easiest way to pop this off is to put a screwdriver in here and pull or twist it a little bit till it pops those top things off, and then you can run your fingers around the edge till those clips pop. And then there's a 4x4 wire that you need to press the tab on and get it off, like every other one. And of course, easier said than done. Okay. And then I added this rear USB port here from the radio, so I have a little bit of extra. So there, now we can get to the head unit. I'm going to take it off and or take it out and then run the wire for the illumination up to the radio and hook it up to the orange one. Here's my rat's nest of wires. As you can see here, the illumination light or wire is the orange one coming out of the radio, and then this is the Metra harness, and the wire that I'm running from the park lamp switch is gonna go under here and up through here, and then I'm going to cut this orange wire and directly connect it to the wire I'm running up from the switch, and hopefully that'll solve my lighting problem. So I cut the orange wire here and I added a connector, and here's the red wire from the switch. So now we can test it out, see if this will solve the problem of the flashing lights, plus allow me to use my dimmer. Here's my switch, and I'm going to put it into park, and this should turn this off here. So here's my dash lights, and I'm using the dimmer. That's dimming those lights. But what we really wanted to see is, are my lights on the radio going to come on? And so I'm going to turn it back to park, and they are on. And now I'm going to use the dimmer. See if I can get my dash in there. So I'm using the dimmer, dimming those lights, but these lights are staying constant. So I can use the dimmer, and this should work as it's intended to. When the park lights are, you know, technically the headlights are on, then it should dim the screen. It's very subtle, I guess. Well, hopefully you can see that. So that works, that solves my problem. I can use the dimmer, and the illumination effect that turns down the brightness when the lights are on works on the radio now, and now I can put this whole thing back in.